From Universal Studios in Hollywood, California, it's Home and Family.
Today on the show, Ray Donovan actor Stephen Bauer. And from Just Let Go, Brenda Vaccaro, Sam Sorbo, and Chris Williams.
Brighten up your day, go home and family way.
Now, this is a little serious here, and it's everyone's nightmare. You're driving home with your family, and suddenly a drunk driver crashes into your car. And here to talk about the new film Just Let Go, actress Sam Sorbo, and the real-life pastor whose life inspired this film is Chris Williams is with us. Welcome, both of you. Chris, how long has it been since the accident occurred?
So it's been 8 years.
8 years. And the film is going to premiere tonight?
It's premiering tonight, yeah. So I've just had the opportunity to kind of write some of the life lessons I've learned into a book, and that's been adapted to a movie. And I'm just thrilled that we're able to share this experience with the nation this evening.
I'm glad you're sharing this experience with everyone. And Sam, what drew you to this film in the first place?
Well, I saw the story as it broke, and I understood that Chris forgave the young man almost right away. Amazing. And it just touched my heart. And so when the script found me, I just was like, oh yes, I want to be part of this story. This is a story that needs to be told. This is a story about forgiveness that people need to hear.
Welcome back. So now we're with award-winning actress Brenda Vaccaro and our longtime friend Sam Sorbo, who co-star in Just Let Go, the heartbreaking story, true story of a man who lost his family in a drunk driving accident. Also, Chris Williams, who's the man whose life is inspired the film. He's with us. Thanks for coming. And we're going to watch a trailer right now of this remarkable film before we start talking about it.
30 years. He won't have much of a life by the time he gets out.
You're not in a mindset to see the situation clearly.
This is a tragedy.
The state wants justice.
4 people died, Chris. If you let him get off easy, you're gonna pay this entire bill. You can't let this happen. It's just not right.
Mr. Williams, you do have an opinion on how Mr. Wright should be tried?
You only get one chance to make this right.
No.
Wow.
That's good.
Yeah, that was the trailer from the film. Just before we start asking you, Brenda, first of all, welcome. Chris,
Thank you.
What's it like having to sit and watch this?
Well, for one, it's a little surreal
Yeah.
in that it's my life being depicted. But I think the thing that is helpful for me as I watch that is just an understanding that of kind of projecting forward, having other people watch this and be positively impacted by what they're seeing. I think, it could have been such a tragedy, but hopefully the film touches lives and it makes it not such a tragedy.
Well, Brenda, you had such a monumental career. You have numerous Tony Awards.
Christine,
Well, you
bless
have. Let's come on.
Monumental is a big word.
Numerous Academy Award nominations and Tony Award nominations. You've won a Golden Globe as well, and your credits and your accomplishments just go on and on.
I'm so old.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like. You're so old.
Yeah, but it's.
Thank you, baby. That's great. That's so gracious of you. Yes.
What attracted you to this material in the first place?
Well, I think when I read the script, first of all, it was really, really well written, and Chris was part of that. But and you read a lot of scripts, but I believe that Shakespeare was right. The play's the thing. So if the script is in place and it's really well written, I mean, your heart starts going pump, pump, pump in the right way, and you think, yeah, I think I want to do this. Also, well, I mean, I don't mean this literally, but I do mean it in a funny way. I'm Sicilian and I believe in murder.
That's basically your character's perspective on
No, well, not murder, but I mean, I am Sicilian, and it's a very difference between a Sicilian and an Italian. If you see Godfather 1 and Godfather 2, you'll all remember that, De Niro came back to cut the throat of the man who killed his mother. There's a lot of years that passed. He didn't forget.
But you played the
and
mother.
he did not
now.
forgive.
No,
yeah, no. And I'm saying there are a lot of people who do not forgive, and Sicilians are famous for that.
Right.
You know, in my family, there's something about the labellos, and every time I tried to ask, I got "Ostadagita" with
be quiet.
and the key being thrown away, and God forbid you should know the answer.
I think we're going to watch a clip from one of the scenes where you let your son know.
Oh, well, that was fast. After I say I believe in murder, that's it. Get that clip on.
All right. Let's see what your character's like.
Wait a minute, Val.
I don't know what to do.
I am not asking for you to burn down his house. I'm just asking you, and I expect you, to let justice do what justice does. Please.
I'm a preacher, Ma.
I know.
I counsel people to love their enemies.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't do it myself.
Mm.
That's really powerful.
You know, I think we were all brought up, I'm sure you were, with forgiving is divine.
Yes.
We even heard Hillary say you can't move forward until you forgive.
Well,
You know, I'm sure she doesn't mean that. But anyway, I'm sure she's got a lot of problems with Bill. But anyway, the whole point about forgiving is that we were taught that first and foremost. Not that maybe if you didn't forgive, you could still go on with your life. You may forget, but you may not forgive.
Well, I know, Sam, you play the district attorney, and does your character share the mother's take on justice?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I'm out for justice in this film, and I'm trying to counsel him to seek the highest penalty that we can find.
Well, we have a scene from the movie addressing the judge's issue when you're talking to him. So let's take a look at that right now.
The state strongly recommends that Mr. Wright stand trial as an adult. This was manslaughter. Just as sure as if he had picked up a gun, only this time he got in his car.
Wow.
So the court asked you how you thought the driver should be charged. What were the choices here so we can understand what this kid was up against?
Sure. So he was 2 months shy of his 18th birthday. So he could be tried as a juvenile and sentenced to the juvenile detention facility until he's 21. Or he could be tried as an adult and sentenced to upwards of 25 to 30 years in prison.
But the difference is if he's tried as a juvenile at 21, his record is expunged like it never happened.
Yeah, correct.
Well, I understand you made this decision just a couple of days after the accident happened.
Yeah, kind of the genesis was right as I was sitting in the car. I heard as if it was spoken over my shoulder 3 words, and they were "let it go." And so that started a process of me committing to let it go.
Then?
Yeah, right in the car.
Wow.
All right, well, Chris made a decision that many people would find impossible. And when we come back, we're going to find out why Chris forgave the drunk driver and ask, could you forgive someone who took away your family this way? And we're going to be right back. Wow, that's pretty heavy. All right, we're back with Chris Williams, whose life inspired the film Just Let Go, and co-stars Brenda Vaccaro and Sam Sorbo. But let's watch the news clip from the night of the accident.
In the time it takes to cover your eyes with your hands, 4 people were killed in an accident many still can't believe.
Absolute devastation. I'm still in shock. I can't believe it.
Inside this mangled car was Christopher Williams, who was a local LDS bishop, his pregnant wife Michelle, and 3 of his 4 children. Of the 6, including the unborn baby, only Christopher and his 6-year-old son Sam made it out alive. His wife Michelle, 11-year-old son Ben, and 9-year-old daughter Anna were killed. 14-year-old Michael was at a friend's house.
Words can't do what I feel about them, what the neighborhood feels about them.
Police say the 17-year-old teenager who hit them then got out of his car and ran, but they found him a short time later laying in the front yard of this house.
Presently under the arrest for suspicion of driving under the influence of alcohol.
Chris, what do you remember about the accident?
So I was awake and aware right after the impact. I remember, desperately trying to find a pulse on the hand of my wife, seeing a gash that wasn't bleeding, kind of indicating that she had passed away immediately from the impact. I remember looking in the back seat and my 2 children that had been lives had been impacted by this. And so, yeah, it was a very soul-compressing moment of extreme pain and grief.
Chris, you were on your way somewhere. You were just out for a drive, and this just stunned you. It's just a surprise. He came out of nowhere.
Yeah, and as you can see in the news footage, and we were going under an underpass, so the bridge obstructs the oncoming traffic, the view of the traffic. So a car coming at us at freeway speeds in a 30-mile-an-hour zone. There was really nothing I could do to avoid being impacted.
Were you surprised to learn it was a kid underage and that he was drunk?
I was. I didn't immediately know who had struck us or what the circumstances were. And that was kind of the last thing that I would have thought. But, it's just tragic in that it happens so often in society, these types of accidents, and that it was a juvenile, that complicates it.
You had that decision, you say it just took a few days for you to come to the decision of forgiveness. How did you do that? I mean, how did you get there?
Well, certainly that, and to me it was as if somebody was speaking to me, but just those words, let it go, that I felt in the car. I mean, I knew that if I were to have any hope moving forward, especially the weakness I felt immediately after to bring my wife back or to bring my children back, my inability to do anything about that or to change what had happened, I mean, for my surviving boys and for myself, I needed to let it go. Those things that I couldn't change.
Now, Sam, I know you've had your children here many times on our Home and Family. If something like this happened to you, would you be able to find it in your heart to do the same thing?
Well, thankfully, I'm not confronted with that. But
Yes.
you know, we all have to approach forgiveness. We all have to deal with forgiving, and I try to be very forgiving in my life because I know that forgiveness is also a gift that I give myself. You know, Gandhi said that forgiveness is not for the weak. It's the people with strength and fortitude that can forgive, and so I try to have that strength, and I look for ways to forgive people. But it's not pacifism. It's not forgetting. It's not it's not, you know. The consequences still have to be in place.
That's very important.
Well, we'll talk about the consequences in a second, but I wanted to ask Brenda, would you be able to do that?
Probably not.
Probably not, yeah. And what about
It's
you,
interesting.
Stephen?
Well,
I think my first impression or my first feeling would be retaliation. It would be to let justice do what justice does.
Right.
I think she has a very good line when she says, I don't want you to burn down his house, but I want you to let justice do what justice does.
Yeah.
It's there for a reason, and not only that, I don't have anything against forgiving. I think there's a lot of people who forgive. It comes naturally to them. It's a great gift. It's God-given in many ways. But at the same time, I don't necessarily believe that people who don't forgive don't have just as good a life. They move forward and they don't forgive, that's all, but they don't go back and retaliate or kill the guy or anything like that.
It's interesting that
It's not Al Pacino.
That you're here actually during the days and recently with the Pope's visit, and that is very much the theme of loving and of forgiveness is very much in the air these days. And you don't have to be a religious person to understand and to hear that message from the Pope, and that it's reaching out. And it's starting to touch people everywhere.
Yeah, it's probably a better philosophy in the long run, considering what the state of the world is in now.
Exactly.
It's easier to forgive and move on and let go, you know. But I'm just saying there are those people who do not, and will never change that.
Well, what do you do? What do you say to people who say to you, perhaps you're sending out the wrong message to people that, you know, there are no consequences to something as serious as this?
Yeah, I think for many of them, they still attach the fact that it was a 17-year-old boy to this act of forgiveness. And as I look at it, that decision to forgive was really all about me. I needed to just concentrate on those things that I could change and the lives that I could impact, and that was my own and my grieving and healing. So,
where's this young man now?
So he's served his time, and he's 2012. It was my honor to attend his reception, and he's been married and is
his
moving
family.
forward.
What was their reaction to? I mean, they must have been stunned by your reaction. I mean, probably the last thing they expected.
the movie.
The last thing they expected.
It's in the movie, the mother's sitting there reading a book calmly. Calmly.
How was their response to you? I mean,
well, I think they realized it's a gift,
saint.
right?
I mean,
yeah, they realized it was a gift to their son. It just
do you
saved
see
his
him?
life.
Do you keep in contact?
Just on a
with
limited
his family?
basis, just to kind of, I encouraged him to let it go as well and to make something of his life. 4 casualties of that incident, that was enough. I didn't need a 5th.
What happened? Where are you in your life right now?
So I've had the opportunity to remarry. I met a wonderful widow. Her husband succumbed to cancer. She had 2 children from her first marriage. I've got 2 from mine, and then
look at this beautiful.
We've had 2 together. So we have got a little Emma and Caroline, 6-year-old, 3-year-old. It's
I'm sorry.
And this was just a few months ago. Very happy.
You know, they say that forgiveness is giving up all hope for a better past.
Wow. Wow.
Okay,
That's
And you
Can
can
I
see-
say something about?
please.
Can I say something about why I did this film? And I don't want to say, I'm not giving anything away, but when I read this script, at a certain point, there was an experience that Chris had as a young man that was overwhelming to me, and it made it impossible for me to say no to do this film. There's no way to tell you about it. You have to take the journey yourself. But the journey is important. The importance of the film is in Chris's personal journey through the act of forgiveness and the act of growing and living and having experience himself. And I think that was the most important thing in my decision about doing this movie.
Okay. Well, if you would like more information, it's on our website at fathomevents.com. Sorry, I can't talk.
My baby.
Why don't you take it?
Information's on our website and at fathomevents.com.
I'm sorry.
And next.
On a happier note, anyway, we're gonna be doing song verse. We're gonna sing when we come back.
Changing weather.
That'll be the last drama we play.
I'm sorry.
Changing
I'm
weather.
sorry. Now picture your family.